This is Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear. Yes, I've wrestled many times. I had the pleasure defeating Bruno Sammartino, WWF champion. But I want to encourage everybody to listen to In Your Head, online.com, the best in the West and East.
Doing, Jack? Thank you, brother, man. 1 inch and Barbie, brother, be glad to have you on the show. It's my pleasure.
Cool. It's great to have you here. And tell everybody to visit Carolina Championship Wrestling because you're on the big show, the tribute to Starrcade. You're going to be the special referee.
Yeah, exactly, Jack. It's going to be November 19th, and, of course, the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. And, you know, back in the 80s, I was with Crockett for 8 years, and we did all our TVs there, and we used to jam it, pack it, and so all the Carolina people, man, they know it's a real good place to wrestle, and they're looking forward to it, I know. I am special referee that night for Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and, of course, one of the Four Horsemen that he's going up against Tully Blanchard. And this is going to be for the CCW heavyweight title. So the winner will walk out with the first CCW title around their waist.
So why did they appoint you the special referee?
Well, I started wrestling in 1964, Jack, and I wrestled until December of 2004, over 40 years, and I'm retired now, and I'm just a goodwill ambassador, man, for professional wrestling, brother, and they wanted to get a legend to come in and be special referee, and they know they could count on me, brother. I'll count it right down, as I see it, right down the middle.
Mm-hmm. Now, also, Baby Doll's going to be in the corner.
Yeah, Baby Doll, I understand, is. I don't know exactly whose corner or what corner, but I do understand, which I know she will be in the arena because the promoter, you told me that she was definitely booked.
Mm-hmm. Now, she's had a history with both guys, Tully Blanchard and Dusty Rhodes. Exactly. Is there any possibility she might leave with the Boogie Woogie Man that night?
Brother, hey, you never know. You know, Boogie Woogie Man's still in good shape, brother. And in fact, I got a wrestling camp here, Jack, in 1 inch. Barbie, and I want to invite you all and anybody else that's listening or watching to please come be my guest. Is out here in Shawsville, Virginia. That's Shawsville, Shawsville, Virginia. And we're here 52 Sundays a year. And not only can you come and watch the kids train every Sunday from 12 noon to 4, but also I have a Hall of Fame museum here. And the good thing about this, Jack, is there's no charge. So you come spend the day with Handsome Jimmy, the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant, and there's no charge to enjoy not only the kids wrestling for 4 hours, watch them train and wrestle, but also enjoy the Hall of Fame museum.
And there's more information about that on your website, jimmyvaliant.com.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, there is, and there's a map how to get there, and please come be my guest. And it's something that I give back to the wrestling fans, and of course the New River Valley. But we're real close to Roanoke, close to Christiansburg, close to Blacksburg, Virginia Tech is, and it's up in the mountains. It's beautiful here, and my lovely wife Angel, and just come and visit and see the Boogie Woogie Man any Sunday from 12 to 4.
Now I understand there's a CD available on your website.
Yes, yeah, we're doing getting this ready. I'm just coming out with a book now, guys, and in fact it's going to be a Thanksgiving book. It's already it's my autobiography, and it's already at the publishers, and so it will be out by Thanksgiving, which you can get off the website jimmyvaliant.com. This is the story, of course, of my life, and it tells of 40 years of professional wrestling. I've had 10,000 matches in 40 years. I've drove actually on U.S. highways 4 million miles, and so there's a few stories in between that. And the book is 600 pages, so it's huge.
Oh, great. Are you do you actually train the wrestlers at your training camp, or do you have another?
Exactly. A week ago Sunday on September 11th, Jack, we had our 13th annual graduation ceremony. So we had 20 odd kids graduate, get their diploma, and they're out there living their dream and doing their thing. Yes, I do have instructors, but everything is within through my system. We have a proven system here. We start at 12 noon every Sunday. We drill for 2 hours, and then we take a short break. We come back, and then we have 2 hours of matches. And this is all getting the kids ready, to live out their dream, and everything we do here is positive. We help the kids, and if you want to be a wrestler, ballet, or referee, or manager, or anything, there's a place in professional wrestling for you here at BWC, Boogie's Wrestling Camp. We'll make this happen for you if you come here. We don't turn kids down. Kids come and they may not be physically 100% Jack or mentally 100%, and no other people give these kids chances, but hey, these kids can do something, man. They can help put the ring up. We'll give them a shot. They can carry the jackets back and forth. They can become managers, referees, or whatever, of course, if whatever their dream is, if they want to be in professional wrestling, hey, we'll make it happen.
Cool. So,
is there anybody that's come through your last class that we should keep our eyes out for on the wrestling scene?
Well, yeah, we had quite a few kids in the 13, 14 years, that we opened the grounds in September of 1992. The first graduating class was September a year later of 93. And I still have kids, I have many kids that has tryouts with the WWE, and of course, go up. I take a lot up to Lawler, up in Memphis, they have Memphis Wrestling now, but before that was Power Pro, and I had them up in, ECW when that was going, and so I've had quite a few kids, but they're all living their dream, everybody can get up to WWE, brother, I was very fortunate to, at my time, in my career, that there was 20 or 25, 30 different territories, for the kids to go. And now there's only one, one big one, and so everybody can get up there, But there was two companies that spun off of BWC, and they started their own wrestling promotion, and they all came from Boogie's Wrestling Camp, and so we got plenty of work for the kids right around the Mid-Atlantic area here.
Cool. Now, I'm guessing not just the in-ring that you teach them, but since you're the Boogie Woogie man, I bet you can really teach you guys how to do good promos and show personality when they're in the ring.
Exactly, we do. We teach them all. Whatever you could come here, Jack, and you could be underweight. We'll show you how to gain weight. If you're heavy, we can show you how to trim it down. Interviews, personal. Whatever it needs. We're here for you, and we all help you. If you need help with your gimmick, your name, whatever, we're here for you. We like for you to think. We like for you to do this yourself. But if you need help, of course, we're right there for you. Yes, sir.
Right. I wanted to ask you, where did you come up with the name Boogie Woogie Man?
Well, I was Handsome Jimmy in the 60s and 70s, and then in the 80s when I went, 1981, I went to Charlotte, North Carolina for the Crockett Corporation, and I looked around, man, and there's Buddy Landell's there with the blonde hair, of course Ric Flair's there with the blonde hair, and I was one of the first pretty boy type blonde hair strutting around, and with the muscles and cocky and all this, and I look around, man, they're everywhere, so I reinvented myself, and I threw the razor away and started growing a beard, and at that time Manhattan Transfer had a big hot record out, a boy from New York City. Of course I was from New York City, announced there, so I just came out to music for the first time. Charlotte never seen music. I was the first to come out to music. In 1970, 10 years earlier, I came out to music in Madison Square Garden for the first time when the Grand Wizard was my manager. So I remembered that. So I came out to music, man. I started coming out. doing things different. I said, what else can I do to be different, you know? So I started hugging and dancing and kissing people. Man, I kissed women, men, and girls, boys, and green, black, purple, blue, white. It didn't matter what. I was kissing everybody, you know. Nobody did this, you know.
Right.
So here's the whole thing. It was something hot. And then, of course, after that caught on, and then Dusty started doing it. Flair started doing it. I go to Memphis. I go come to music, and then no one was doing it there. Lawler started doing it. Dundee started doing it, you know. So everywhere I went, everybody started doing it. Now WWE, but every match,
every single
every
wrestler.
match. I mean, both sides do it. So you know what I do now, Jack, in 1 inch and Barbie. What I do now, baby, you know, was if I was still headlining, hey, I would come out to no music. You understand? That would be different. See, so you know, I reinvented myself, and you know, you just had I had a complete different. The next 20 years, I was you know, a fan favorite. Everybody loved me, you know, as the Boogie Woogie Man. But I was always Jimmy Valiant for 40 years.
Mm-hmm. Do you think maybe that's more important, something the younger wrestlers should learn, is to make yourself different than just learning to do a lot of big high-flying moves?
Yeah, I do, but of course that's good too, you know. You got to keep up with the times.
Right.
At Boogie's Wrestling Camp, we teach old school stuff, you know, but also we teach the new school stuff, because these kids, man, they come here, man, they're flying, man, already, you know. These kids, I just got to slow them down and show them how to do correct stuff, and you know, your timing and everything, but you see, if I don't teach the old school stuff to these kids, you know, which they get here at Boogie's Wrestling Camp, brother, you know, it's going to be a lost art. If your mother didn't pass down to your sisters, or your wife, you know, her mother, if they didn't pass down the different recipes like homemade biscuits and cornbread and wherever you're from, or different recipes, you know, how to do this cooking, you know, if they don't pass it down, they can't pass it to their daughters. It's going to be a lost art, you know. Now then, everything's just going to be microwave, see. But here, brother, you know, we have all the old school stuff, you know, and we combine it, you know, with, of course, the high flying stuff, right, and the new stuff. Sure.
Yeah. You still need the basics.
Yes.
Learn the new moves, but you need the basics. Now, another thing that always made you different was definitely the beard. Everyone remembers the beard. There's also someone we had on the show before, was Ox Baker. Who do you think has the better facial hair, you or Ox Baker?
Oh, the Baker. Well, he usually just had that Fu Manchu, you know. And
right.
Yeah. I mean, Oxy Foxy, man. You know, he's cool, you know, and I just seen him at some of the legend things we go to, and I love the Ox brother, man. And you know, I got a lot of stories about him in our book, you know, that is coming out soon, and a lot of stories about everybody, man. You know. Yeah. But you know, the whole thing is that Baker and myself and all the old timers, man. You know, we all got different lives, different stories, and hey, I think it's important to bring everything out and explain and tell people, you know, what's going on in our life, you know.
Could you tell us one of your favorite maybe road stories that we'll get to read about in your book?
Yeah, well, I'll just bring up Ox Baker for instance. We were in Louisiana and working in the match and the wrestling, and Big Ox, you know, he comes out and I'm out there, and so the matches before it started, you know, years ago, you know, they would call you to the center of the ring, and it's completely different than now today's, you know, and the referee would give you instruction, just like a boxing match, you know, and before, and you know, bop. Anyway, so I look down, and here Ox, I says, what time is it, Ox, you know, and he looks down at his watch, and he says, oh, geez, he realized he had his watch on, you know, he's ready to wrestle. You know, years ago, we didn't wear no jewelry or nothing in there, you know, and of course, you know, it got him tickled, and I got tickled, and of course, the crowd didn't even know nothing going on, you know, and he pulled his watch off and gave it to the referee, and put it in his pocket, or gave it to the timekeeper or something, and we went ahead and wrestled, but you know, stuff like that, man, you know, I got in the book, and it's just a lot of good funny stuff, and I got serious stuff. I got all kinds of stuff, you know.
Do you have a question, Incher?
Just like to know what favorite territory you ever worked in?
What
Favorite territory to work in? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one is I was very fortunate to work in all the big territories. I went to WWF 3 different times, and each time I stayed over a year. I went in 1970, stayed over a year in 1974, over a year in 1978. So of course that was the best in the world, you know. And I was at AWA Gagne's territory in Minneapolis twice, you know. Stayed over a year each time, you know. Of course, I went to WWA for Dick the Bruiser in Indianapolis maybe 6, 8 times, man, you know, and these are all huge. I went out to Frisco for Roy Shires, you know, at the Cow Palace, San Francisco, and I went to Atlanta, you know, for Barnett. I went to, of course, Memphis, Tennessee for Jarrett, Jerry Jarrett, you know, for years, and I was fortunate to work the best territories, and so really I have no favorite. Honestly, I don't, man, because I loved them all. You know, I made money in all of them, and just you know, just in the right time, right spot, and of course, you know, when you get over in a territory, and then they always want you back, so you know, they call you back in every few years, and it was just a wonderful career that I had, and I have no bitterness, or I have no nothing bad to say about you know, my life, my career in professional wrestling. Man, I'm the biggest professional wrestling ambassador, brother, you're going to find. You know, in fact, a lot of the independent promotions now, you know, they have me. They just want me to be their you know, come and be their ambassador, you know, or the commissioner or whatever, you know, or be a special referee for a main event or something. So. And I love it. I love it today.
You mentioned about going to different territories every couple of years. Do you think that's bad for wrestling now that there is only one major territory? Because a guy can really get burnt out being on the same television for years and years.
Sure, I do. I really do. You better believe it, you know. And I think it's got to come back, Jack, to all these territories again. You know, they're trying, and it's going to happen. It has to, you know. My goodness, because the people want to see the live events. You know, we used to go to Memphis, Tennessee at the Memphis Coliseum, man. Every Monday, 52 Mondays a year we were there. You know, then Tuesday we'd go to the Louisville Gardens, and Wednesday Evansville. You know, so you know they were weekly shows, man. And even here in when I was with Crockett's, you know. Every Monday was in Greenville. Of course, they had 2 or 3 shows running every night. But you work 7 days a week, you know. When I was with the Crockett for 8 years, I worked 9 times a week. I wrestled 9 times a week. We'd wrestle every day, which is 7 days, and we'd wrestle twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday, you know. And it's got to come back to that, because people want to see, you know, they don't want to just watch the TV and order the pay-per-view, you know what I mean? Hey, man, you're missing the live action, man. You know, the live, the feel, the smell, you go there and yell and scream, you know, with other people, and the lights are low, and, you know, eat the popcorn and the hot dogs, and, you know, the excitement going on. It's got to come back, you know, and I think it will.
Yeah. Do you have some questions from the message board, Barbie?
I do. One of our fans by the name of Casino Man wants to know your thoughts on feud with Colonel Red in Herb Abrams' UWF.
Herb Abrams, well, I got quite a few stories about Herb in my book, you know, and God bless him, man. You know, I worked with him out in California. I worked with him in South Carolina. My brother Luscious Johnny, he managed Johnny some of his stand-up comedian tours, you know, and you know, he was way ahead of his time, man. I mean, he was a promoter, you know, and you know, just got you know, in a bad situation there, and God bless, you know, he OD'd up in New York, and it's a shame.
Yeah, called Mr. Energy, I believe. Got another question, Barbie, from the message board?
The flea.
Another one of our fans.
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
Go on, intro.
Okay. The flea wants to know how do you rate yourself as a promo guy?
As a what?
As a promo. How do you rate your promos?
As a promo?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, years ago, Barbie and 1 inch, the whole thing is, I would think, like a bodybuilder, you say working out would be maybe 25%, nutrition 75%, wrestling 25%, and interview 75%, because we would actually, do a promo and actually, people watching this at home, what you're doing, you're wanting to get them to the arena. So we talk them right out of their nice, comfortable chairs at home to get up, man, and get in the car and come to the arena, or they could be sitting there that Friday night instead of in the Memphis Coliseum. So interviews are so important, now, wrestling, I'm not knocking WWE, brother, man, but, now they do so much talking and so much less wrestling, and we did it, we would hit so many promos, during the week we would make for the individual towns, and we'd talk right to the people in that town, and it was a complete different business then. But, Dusty Rhodes, myself, Superstar Billy Graham, Hulk Hogan, these people, that could talk, you could actually sell them tickets, man, and bring them to you, to see you.
You mentioned all those guys. Now, a big thing in wrestling now, especially in the WWE, is that they have writers who writes all the guys' promos.
Right.
Now, all those guys you mentioned, none of those guys would have been the same if someone wrote their promos. All those guys, including yourself, would have had to come up with their own promos. I think it helps build their own character. Do you think that's bad to have one writer that writes everyone's promos?
Yeah, brother, if one of the promoters or whatever, if they say want something across, or they may say, hey, get this all over. We're all professional. We knew how to get what over. I mean, if you're in a cage match, man, you're talking about you can't run, you can't hide, you can't beat, peep, you can't jive, man. There's no way getting out of this thing. If it's a chain match or whatever match, you knew what you got to say if you're a professional. And yeah, that would throw me off, man. I just go ad lib and man, unless they want something specific, man. And
right.
Of course, I tell them, hey, they're my boss, man. I tell them what they want, and then I just take off from there,
Yeah, exactly. Put your own spin on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have another question, Barbie, from message board?
One of our fans, Wildcat Woman, wants to know who your favorite opponent in the ring was.
Wildcat Woman. Well, back in Barbie, back in the 60s, man, I wrestled all the. Dick the Bruiser, Vern Gagne, Sailor Art Thomas, Moose Cholak, the Crusher, in the 70s. Of course, I wrestled Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, Jerry the King Lawler. Big feuds, in the 80s. Man had a big feud with Ivan Koloff, Kabuki, One Man Gang, Paul Jones' Army. I had a feud with Paul Jones' Army, probably the longest feud in wrestling history that lasted 5-6 years, In his army, he had Baron von Raschke, and he had Barbarian, he had Abdullah the Butcher, he had Shasta Watley, he had the Raging Bull, all these guys he fed, fed me, man, after the Boogie Woogie, man. I wrestled all the world champions, Funk Jr., Unadori, Harley Race, Jack Briscoe, Ric Flair. I wrestled them all, man, and I don't know who's a favorite. I enjoyed all of them, and right. It didn't have to be a big, a world champion. It didn't have to be. Man, I enjoyed wrestling. I just loved it all. I have no favorite.
Yeah, when you mentioned didn't have to be a world champion, I think one of your biggest feuds during the Starrcade period would have been versus Paul Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you guys had, tuxedo matches, hair versus hair matches. So what would be your biggest memory from the original Starrcades?
Original Starrcades, well, I was fortunate to be on the very first, and I think I was on the first 5 or 6, I don't know. So probably the very first one was because it was just a spectacular event, and of course, they're still doing them, and later on, of course, everybody else started with all the that was the first with the fog machines and the lights,
like a big event
show.
Yes,
big event, brother. Yes.
Yeah, kind of before WrestleManias, really.
Exactly. Yes, that's what spun that off and with the Mania. Yes.
Yeah. Do you have one more question here from the message board, Incher?
Yeah, Raven Effect, he wants to know what was your biggest achievement to date.
Well, I had, just this past week, my high school honored me, man, so that was a pretty big achievement for me, and the mayor came out and gave me the key to the city. I was raised in Hammond, Indiana. All this will be talked about in, not that, but all my childhood in Hammond, Indiana, and so that was a pretty big deal. In November of '96, I think, WWE inducted me in their Hall of Fame, and I've been in the many Hall of Fames, and it's just many things on my life, but I was blessed with, and man, I just love it, and I talk about all this in the book, and anybody, please just email me, just look up JimmyValiant.com and email me, brother, and I'll email you back, and please come visit any Sunday from 12 to 4 here at Shawsville, Virginia, Boogie's Wrestling Camp Hall of Fame Museum, and Jack, and please, you and Barbie and 1 Inch, man, come on and enjoy that with me. And
all right, is there anything you want to tell your fans before we let you go? One last thing.
Let the Boogie Woogie man feel good. I'll tell my people, all my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss this one. They're going to be ballers walking climb the wall. Old times, you believe blood going to flow like wine. Woo, miss that. Boogie man feel good. Yeah. See you, Jack. See you, 1 Inch. And Bobby, I love you, brother. God bless everybody.
Hi, wrestling fans. This is Bill Dundee. So when you're around town, you tune in to IYHWrestling.com, and I promise you won't be disappointed.